Our world of today
confronts numerous challenges, tragedies, inequalities, and injustices, many of which are tied to corruption. And in Nigeria, corruption has eaten deeply into the fabrics of this nation, wherever you go. And we are here this morning as the world marks Anti-Corruption Day globally to see what actually brought about this corruption in the first place, how we are going to fight it, if it is possible that we can fight it. For some people are of the opinion that it has actually become a norm. Welcome to Good Morning Anambra show for today. My name is Nonya Nwokoye, and I have some distinguished guests in the studio to look at this topic. Engineer Ugochi Freeman is the coordinator, CSO's Media Accountability and Anti-Corruption Initiative. Ugochi, it's good to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
You're welcome. Also in the studio is Barrister Lillian Oguchi Osakwe. Barrister Lillian is Secretary, Anambra Anti-Corruption Strategy Secretariat. Lillian, it's good to have you.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here.
All right. Don't know. Let's begin with Ugochi. I would want you to, give us how do you see the entire system of Nigeria when as regards corruption?
All right. Thank you very much. Thank God today is World Anti-Corruption Day, and that is why we are here, I believe. So coming to the context of Nigeria, if you ask anybody, they will tell you that corruption has become a norm in Nigeria. It's like it's part of the system. There was something somebody posted on the WhatsApp group that I was in. So they were making a comment, and I said, that person forgot to mention that corruption is part of the problem we're having in Nigeria. He said, no, it's not a problem. That it's a culture, it's a norm. Okay, so that is the way they see us, Nigeria. Even citizens of Nigeria believe that there is nothing we can do about corruption. It's like a system. It's like it's part of us. But we don't need to allow it to continue because it's something that is bad.
All right. Now, okay, before we move forward, Lydia, I would like you to come in with, description
of actually what corruption is.
Okay, thank you. When we want to describe corruption, we'll have to try and, an attempt at defining the term. Corruption is the abuse of entrusted power for private gain. That's Transparency International's definition of corruption. Now, if you look at it, most people, when they see corruption, people generally believe that corruption has to do with the government, is a public thing. But looking at this definition, you find out that what we are looking at here is whatever power that is given to you, whether it is in your home, as the father, mother, children, in your business place, in your office, as long as you have been entrusted with power, when you abuse that power for your own selfish gain, your own private gain, it is corruption. If you want to elaborate further, for example, let's even talk about the home. You go to the house, the father in the house, let's say maybe he has a debt outside and the person comes knocking, to pick up his debt. What he will tell the child is, go and tell him that I'm not around. That is corruption. He's using his position because ordinarily, maybe that child has already been taught not to lie. But the fact that this person is his or her father, he cannot disobey his or her father. As in, you have already abused that power that you are the head of the house. And whatever you tell your child is going to do that. Then let's not even go further so that we'll be able to cover the whole topic. Let me just end it. Thank you.
All right. Okay, from the family.
Yes.
Now, when we talk about corruption generally, there's something you said earlier that a lot of us have seen it as a norm. A lot of us have said nothing could be done about it. And some people still see it as something that is bad. Or even people that are doing it, sometimes it seems some people hide So what you are hiding to do actually shows that it is wrong, because you can be bold to come out that somebody wins something and you're happy, you know. Then hiding to do something actually shows that that thing is wrong. Now, knowing that there are still some people that know that corruption is bad, you know, do you think that there is a possibility of fighting corruption?
Of course, yes, there is possibility. She made mention of transparency, accountability, being open. I do tell children when I go for sensitization in school, I do tell them anything you're doing, and you're looking left and right to see whether somebody is seeing you, mean that that particular thing you're doing is wrong. Or somebody tells you, don't tell somebody, don't tell anybody, means that that thing is bad. And the same thing I tell them is what I tell my children from home. Okay? So it can be curbed, it can be eradicated, but we need to go back to the family, just like she said. Value reorientation from the home. How well are you, what value are you portraying to your children? What are you explaining to them? Because it's that thing that you teach them. That is what they see as a normal thing, okay? And that is what they will carry out. So let that transparency, let that accountability start from the family, from the home. Okay?
All right, before we really get to, you know, how to go about it, you know, let's look at generally places that we can find corruption in Nigeria, you know.
Yes, we mentioned family.
Yeah.
We mentioned civil service. It is there in school. It is there in the market. It is there in the administration of criminal justice. It is everywhere, deep down everywhere. And there are some things we even do personally we don't even know is corruption. Yes.
Like?
There are some acts you might be doing that you don't know that this is corrupt practice. Let me give you an example. Okay. That has become like a norm, just like they say. Let me say, you are giving little money, you are giving money to go to market. You go to market and come back. And you don't tell the person that sent you, let me say I'm a child, my parents send me to market, I go to market, I come back. I don't give account. Okay? You don't give account of how you spend the money.
You die the change.
We went to Ubariam, that was on Friday. So we were telling them to mention examples of corruption, what constitutes corruption. They were mentioning. Then we went back and now started telling them what of this they do in school. That you're going back to school and your parents tell you to write down what you need, the things that you want. And I write, you want so and so book, you mark it up. Even the books that are not existing. They say, no, that one is not corruption. No. That one is like for them to,
to get more money.
Yes. So those are the things that they do. They don't even know that it's corruption. Example. For those of us in civil society, you might have a program and you are supposed to have 50 participants, okay? And that program is a donor-funded program. And at the end of the day, you have 30 participants and you're supposed to give account. Then you find out that, okay, 30 participants, what will happen to the remaining 20? Let's mark it up. We start bringing fictitious names so that you can collect that money and put. I've received a call sometime. Somebody asked me, please, what's your account number, so and so. What are you using it for? I now found out that maybe they did a program. They want to retire the money. So they need to pay that money into somebody's account and then find a way to collect it back. That is corruption. Yeah.
All right. When I saw the theme for this year's anti-corruption year, uniting with youth against corruption, shaping tomorrow's integrity. And of course, from the report from the United Nations website, they say that with 1.9 billion young people in the world, fighting corruption is vital for the future of nearly a quarter of the global population. Now, what came to my mind was, the people that these young ones should be looking up to mostly are corrupt. So how do we go about it with this thing in the mind of the United Nations for this year? Barrister.
Okay. Like we've already said, it has eaten deep into the tiniest fabric of our daily actions. However, to address it, it's not going to be an easy activity. It's not going to be easy, but the truth is, if we agree, first of all, we have to reorient ourselves. There is every need, just like the CSOs are doing, but we need to do more. Even from the teacher in the classroom, the mother at home, we need to start inculcating very good habits in our children, because they are the future. They are the ones that will take this up when we are gone. Now, when, for example, you know that your child is going to school, you know your child is going to take WAEC or JAMB, you put the child in an otherwise very good school that has been marked for academic excellence. When he's getting, this is what we see every day, it's a norm, just like she said. When the child is getting to SS2, you now take the child quietly, change school. Which is the school you're changing the child to? Special center. By the time you show this child that you don't need to actually lean on your own understanding or depend on your own knowledge, that you have to go to a special center to excel, what are you teaching that child? Of course, the child will see it as a normal thing. After all, if my parents are the ones supporting it, there is nothing bad about it. Do you understand? Then, in our educational system, our scheme, we have to make moral values. When I was little, when I was in my primary school, there was this thing, this subject, moral instruction. Okay. They take it very seriously then.
Every Thursday.
But now, I don't even know if it's still, I know it's still in the curriculum, but I wouldn't know what kind of priority they give to moral instruction. You use that to shape the child, at least at the school level. By the time the child is hearing the same thing at home, goes to school, is instructed, this is how the right way to do things. You, the teacher, you're not looking for a way to package the child's result. Do you know, I had a very bad experience. One of my girls was in school. I knew this girl could not even read or write her name. Only for the child to come back with her report. I was really waiting to see what her report card was going to look like. She came back home giving me a B average report card. I looked at the report card and I asked her, please, can you just write the name of your school? English, B, this one, A, I say who? Is it my champion or another person? The champion I know or another? Do you know this girl cannot even write the school's name? She cannot write her name. And she's having B's in English. This is at a private school. That was what prompted me to remove her from that school. Because what it means is they're just bringing out good results for a child that has nothing upstairs. Just to make the child look good and so that you continue patronizing them. So the thing is, as in, if you look right, corruption. You look left, that, like she said, you won't even, a lot of people do a lot of things. If you come to the civil service setting, for example, there are so many things people do that they don't even know they are corrupt practices. For example, you are at your duty post, and you're supposed to be there 8, to 4 p.m. And you come by 8, what you do is you drop your bag on your table and decide to take a stroll. Hey, you go and start doing greeters ministry. Meanwhile, you have clients waiting for you to attend to them. You don't see it as anything bad, but it's corruption, because you're supposed that 8 to 4, you are designated to be at your duty post and be attending to these people. That's what you're being paid for. But what do? You feel it's customary, or you start praying. That one is the most rampant one. The prayer you forgot to say in your house. You've forgotten that God's commandment is that wherever you are, wherever you're walking, is also where you are asked to do God's will, if we want to even go to moral law. You understand? Now, that time for prayer, there's time for everything. You should have said it at home. When you come to work, do your work diligently. It's also part of the prayer. But they will come, they will pray for 1 hour before they will start their work. And people are waiting for you. It's all corruption. We cannot exhaust it. You understand? So what we have to do to actually move forward and see that at least the youth will, let's see if they can start making attempts, to get out. First of all, reorient them in your homes. Reorient them in schools, with your school team. Prioritize anti-corruption activities. Even in the university, everywhere. That is the only way. And even in social, what are we even saying? Do we want to start with the phones? Let's not even go there. It's a long story. Thank you.
I'm at the market. All right. And when we talk about corruption being endemic, what are the effects? What have we lost over the years because of corruption? And what has the things we are yet to be lost as a result of corruption?
All right. What we have lost as a result of corruption is very, very numerous. It's big. And you cannot pinpoint it's one or two. It's a whole lot. Okay? Talk of contractors that abandon projects, they are paid a lot of money, and they abandon road projects, they are causing road accidents, and people die as a result of it. As of government that appropriates money for certain projects, and those money are not used. Not that they are not, yes. Somebody will now embezzle the fund, and government will still put in money again to do the same project. The same that money that would have been used to provide for another service will not be used to provide that particular service. Example, see a roofing of a school, okay, and then the contractor will now abandon the project. I'll just give you an instance. So because it's a school, and students are involved, children are involved, and they are inside the classroom, they are being reinforced on them. There's no how government will close an eye to that. Of course, they have to put in money again to make sure that that school is being removed. And that is why we need to look at our legislations. It's good to have laws, but the effective implementation of those laws matters a lot. Yes, I heard that Kano State, they have Anti-Corruption Commission. And I just saw yesterday that the Kano State Anti-Corruption Commission, their budget for the 2025, 50% of it is going to litigation. And what does that mean? To hold people accountable. Take them to court. They should answer. So it's not about just embezzling fund and then going off the hook. There needs to be enforcement. Those laws need to be enforced. Okay? Just like you were asking her, in my organization, there's this thing we started last semester, redeeming the next generation. Because we believe that this corruption has eaten deep. So we are thinking of how can we redeem this upcoming generation from the primary, secondary school level. It's very, very important. And then thank God for rule of law and anti-corruption. They also supported us to go into tertiary institution, which started on Friday. And we hope that by 2025, we'll cover a whole lot of tertiary institutions. Why are we going there? We find out that these nuns, these students, it's them that these politicians use. And after, when they graduate, they are the ones that will vie for House of Assembly. They are the ones that will go for councillorship. They are the ones that they will use for PA. So let's start reorienting them. Let them start getting it right, knowing that there are people they represent. She said, misuse of entrusted power for private gain. Let them know that they are representing, adapt their constituency in school. They are representing other students. They should know that it's the welfare of their fellow students that they are representing. Go to Unizik now. Previously, you find out that anything about students, both their transport system, is low. But now, what do you get? They're even paying higher in transportation than us that are outside. From Unizik, from Ekoka to Amuabia, from Ekoka to Enuguku, it's about 400 naira. From that, the same Ekoka to Unizik, inside school, how much? And these are students that their parents give little amount of money. But then the people that are representing them in the school, the student executives, it's like they have forgotten that the students that they are representing. Why should they be paying such an amount of money when they're in school? It should be even be lower than what others are paying. But it's like when they go, they forget. It's above what they can get from those transporters. How much is coming to their private pocket? How much they are remitting to school authority, and not about how it affects the students, their immediate constituencies, they're representing.
All right. Well, still looking at the effects of corruption, you know, in this nation, there's been a time that some people were called out on the pages of the newspaper, on the television, on radio, as people that mismanaged funds in this nation. And at the end of the day, nothing is heard about it. Barrister, this question is coming to you. You know, what does this say about us as a people? You know, that some people will be called out, and there are some measures that are supposed to be meted out on them to serve as deterrent. At the end of the day, we will hear billions and millions of naira, you know, being managed, and after that, nothing will be heard again about those issues. What does this say about us as a people?
Well, the truth is that, you know, when you have laws and you don't enforce them, what do you get? It's as good as that law is dead, because without enforcing, nobody is going to abide by the laws. So it has always been, everybody knows that one of the key ingredients of preventing corrupt practices is making sure that you enforce our laws. Do you understand? Enforce our laws to act as a deterrent to others. You know, like in Anambra State, like you said, I'm the secretary of the Anambra State Anti-Corruption Strategy Secretariat. This ANSAC is a policy document that our governor actually signed off. Now, it's undergoing review right now because it's expired. The first tenure expired December 2023. So the follow-on strategy is, I'm sure, is undergoing review. It has already been validated. It's waiting for the governor to sign it off. So these are, on the part of the government, the little efforts they are making to see if we can actually correct some of these problems. Now, in that anti-corruption strategy, we have ways, some strategic objectives that we are using to see if we can curb corruption. If we cannot eradicate it entirely, at least let us curb it to a very sufficient extent. You understand? And some of those strategies are to prevent corruption. And in doing that, the government has tried, with the support of ROLAC, to most of our laws now on anti-corruption, because that is part of the problem. Some of the laws that have to do with punishing those that indulge in corrupt practices are even obsolete. They are obsolete. A situation whereby, for example, someone steals 4 billion naira, and you tell me that in the law, they say the penalty on conviction is 1 year imprisonment, or you give the person an option of fine of 500,000 naira. Please, if you were the one, won't you go and collect the 4 billion, remove the 500,000 and give the change? And that's change now, and continue with the remaining money. You understand? So because these laws are obsolete, the government has tried in a very, through the Office of the Attorney General and with the support of the House of Assembly and even the rule of law and anti-corruption, to review most of these laws. You understand? Like, we have the Administration of Criminal Justice law that has been reviewed. We have the Magistrate Court law, then even the Criminal Code law. Most of them are still, some of them, a lot of our laws, because the last laws we had were the ones revised in 1991. So they are reviewing them to bring them up to, you understand, the current economic reality.
Even in the course of reviewing the ones that was there before, how far, to what extent? Because we remember Ganduje and what happened. They started calling him Gandola or stuff like that. And eventually becoming a head of, and these youth that we are looking at, trying to see whether we can do something because of them, because of tomorrow. They watch all these things. They see them, Yes. So I don't know.
Yes. And that is why, what I'm actually saying, I'm bringing it to the state level, right now. So it is all these little gaps. Because like I said, in most cases, what you have as a deterrent is not really punitive enough to deter people. So if the youth also sees that this is what this person has to start, that is where it is enforced. Okay. You know, like I said, the answers, the strategy itself provides for ways of solving this problem. And that is through prevention. They recognize that if you can prevent corruption by strengthening our legal framework, that is where I was going to, and the institutional framework. The legal framework is when it has to do with the laws, which is what we are still, that is undergoing review. Then the institutional framework is strengthening those institutions that are supposed to enforce it, like the police, the Nigerian Correctional Center, you know, and even the judiciary and even the law officers, you know, to come to terms with what needs to be done for us to actually enforce, give the relevant sanctions, and make sure that these things are complied with. Because that is the problem. If we cannot enforce these laws, then we are done. There is nothing we can do. And that is, most of the times, that is what we find as it is on ground. So that enforcement is very important. Then also, we also found out that, like we have already said, public enlightenment and ethical reorientation of people, we are going forward, you know, through, because that is part of what the CSOs are doing, you know, trying to implement the answers.
All right, they'll still tell us more about that.
Thank you.
When we look at the way forward, but as it stands, you're watching Good Morning Anambra, and today happens to be Anti-Corruption Day globally, and we're looking at how it is in our nation. Of course, your guess is as good as mine. We take a very short break here. When we return, the program continues. Do join us again.
The issue of corruption is a collective responsibility of everybody, but you know that it's not really within the confines of the youth alone to combat corruption, because to me, if you ask me, I will tell you that the youth of Nigerians are one of the hardest working youths in the globally. So, but Nigeria's system is so messed in a way that it is not encouraging. I don't expect the youth to do much, because I think they're already doing, they're exhausted. You know, a lot of things are just wrong with the country. The corruption is from our so-called leaders. I think the bulk of the responsibility is on the leaders and not the youths, because I think the youths are already doing what they need to do. Look at the street. A lot of graduates are roaming around. Nobody have job. People are working hard. You can see a lot of them in the market, doing all kind of businesses, trying to survive. And the system is just not encouraging.
The youth should engage in high income skill. They should go and learn high income skill, right? That would make them to have enough money, because one of the things that I know that made you to go into lots of corruption is because they don't have money, they don't have enough funds to take care of their bills. So if they have skills, they can be able to fend for themselves, they can be able to, you know, there are a lot of high income skills out there. You can learn editing, you can learn video editing, you can learn a lot of things, and at the end of the day you have your job, because a lot of persons are seeking for people that have this job. So also they can also think and get busy with entrepreneurship. They can think out of the box and get ideas on businesses that can help them, you know, get money, get enough money, so that they can be able to curb corruption.
It's by everyone, first of all, getting a skill. It mustn't be just the manual skill, like learning how to make dresses and all that. You can learn tech, because the world is going global. Like me, I'm a network operator, and I was able to, it's not really what I studied in school that is giving me money. It is the skill I acquired, the technical skills I acquired that are paying me. So when youth get engaged in all these things, I think it's going to reduce or curb corruption in the country. But I don't think we can end corruption completely, but it will really minimize it to...
Start with yourself. Tell yourself that I will not be part of corruption. You understand? Don't be greedy, because what brings corruption is greediness. And try to do what? Try to motivate yourself by learning. If you don't go to school, and even if you go to school, you understand, you have to engage in something. Try to learn handwork. Because the problem we have now is that everybody believes that office pay more. When you stop thinking about that, when I go to the office, I will use Bilo to make money, make millions. You will see that things will change from good to better. You will learn work. When you learn work, then if you're asking for money to start, that will be a different ball game. You know, but try to engage yourself in something. Engage yourself in something. That's the first thing you will do as a youth. Don't wait for your parents or because I'm hoping for my brother is in abroad, it will help me. No, engage in something.
All right, now, Ugochi, as an NGO person, you know, part of what the United Nations are saying is that the campaign for this year's Global Anti-Corruption Day focuses on the role young guardians of integrity plays as advocates, raise awareness about corruption and its impact on their communities, which we have said here.
We are doing.
You know, what are the things people are doing this year, you know, to help or in pushing corruption out of the system quickly, because our time is
right. Okay. We've engaged in community sensitization. We engage the women group, we get the youth through the support of International Aid there. We also engage in schools with this Redeeming the Next Generation I told you about. So continuous sensitization is not a one-off thing. It's something that should be continuous. For value to be to change that mindset is not a one-off activity. We need to continue hampering on it, talking about it, and then believing God that there will be a change.
All right.
In fact, I don't know how I feel this morning, but all the same, we thank God. This is how we are, you know, wrapping up the show. But remember that it's been established here that corruption is endemic in our system. It has somehow become a norm. But they're like some citizens that spoke to us in the clip. You know, it's something that you need to make up your mind whether to be a corrupt person or not to be a corrupt person. And there's possibility of change, but something needs to be done, you know, to people that are corrupt, to serve as deterrent to upcoming generation. Because all we are doing or all we are working for is for the future generation. And I know that when things or the proper things are done, things will take its shape in the society. On behalf of all the crew of Good Morning Anambra this morning, I would like to appreciate you, Ugochi, in no small measure, the Media Accountability and Anti-Corruption Initiative, that's the CEO's coordinator. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you very much. Let's say no to corruption and let us be the change we want to see.
All right, Secretary Anambra Anti-Corruption Strategy Secretariat, Barrister Lillian Oguchi, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right. That's how it's been on today's episode of Good Morning Anambra. We thank you so much for being here. Let's all live to say no to corruption. It's a goodbye from here.